We heard Commissioner Rob Manfred mention realignment on Sunday Night Baseball when the Mets were playing, so that's what we're going to talk about. It has been the hot topic in the baseball world. Realignment's coming, expansion is coming, and the National League East, as we know it, will not look the same when this happens. So we're going to talk through all the proposals, all the ideas, all the thoughts and reasoning behind realignment, as we always do on the podcast. Appreciate everybody coming in for this episode. Make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, Mets'd Podcast, to see the video version of this. And if you are listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, drop us a rating, download, and subscribe. All that good stuff. I don't necessarily love realignment or expansion. I don't think baseball needs it, but it doesn't really matter what I think because it's happening based on what Rob Manfred said.
I like expansion more than realignment. I think any successful league should be expanding. Any successful business should be expanding. I think Major League Baseball has had a couple good years of success recently. I think the talent pool right now in Major League Baseball is as good as it's been. The bottoms of rosters, the strength of the minor leagues are improving rapidly. We're seeing the way that player development is hitting a new stride right now. I think that we're a couple years away from two new teams being able to be created where talent's accessible. And there are a lot of markets that baseball hasn't really tapped into super well. The South, which is the most baseball-rich section of this entire country, it has like one team, really. And the two teams in Florida who don't care about baseball. So I do think that there are spaces, a place like Portland, a place like Oakland they just took a team from. These are ripe baseball markets where I think that you can. Realignment is where I start to get fuzzy on it because I'm worried about the NBA-ification of the game we love, and that's where I start to get scared about this.
Yeah, I definitely don't want Major League Baseball to turn to the NBA. We've even seen the NFL with some expanded playoffs where now a lot more teams are making it. There's a conversation to be had because if there are new teams added, which it looks like there will be, you're either going to have a division that's uneven if you keep it the current way because there'll be 32 teams and one division is going to go back, or two divisions will go back to having 6 teams like the NL Central used to. That's why I think realignment's more in play. Now, there's been a couple different proposals. We don't know what's true. We don't know what's not. But we just have from people at The Athletic making articles giving their theories. There's one which is Jim Bowden's, which is very, very radical, absolute chaos. Then there's one which is Stephen Nesbitt's, which I personally like a lot more. Did you get a chance to look at both of those?
Yeah, I have them both pulled up. But I do want to caution because while I like Stephen Nesbitt's, and Stephen Nesbitt, one, is a great writer. He's just a great baseball mind. Two, he did his realignment proposal, and I'll tell you guys what it would look like right now. This is what I think it would look like, because we go to 32-team league. So similar to the NBA model, it would be 2 16-team leagues, but 4 4-team divisions. And what he did is he maintained the sanctity of both the American National League. I fear, and this is what Jim Bowden did in his proposal, this is what the guys on Fox Sports did in their proposal, and this is where, if you kind of read between the tea leaves of what Rob Manfred actually said, I think that they're going to rip the leagues apart and the 100-plus year tradition that we've had, the beauty of baseball, these two different leagues, and they're going to change that. Because I just want to read the quote for you before we go through some of these proposals. What he said when he was in the booth during the Little League game on Sunday: I think if we expand, it provides us with the opportunity to geographically realign. I think we could save a lot of wear and tear on our players in terms of travel. Classic Rob Manfred pretending he's doing this for the players, but he's only doing this for the owners, obviously. I think our postseason format, this is big, I think our postseason format would be even more appealing for entities like ESPN because you'd be playing out of the East, out of the West, and that 10 o'clock where we sometimes get Boston-Anaheim would be 2 West Coast teams. That 10 o'clock slot, that's a problem for us. Sometimes that becomes real opportunity for our West Coast audience. That, I think, is the most relevant thing. He goes on to say, the toughest thing for us in the playoffs is always Anaheim against Boston on a hypothetical matchup. Those 4-game days in the division series, you're either playing too early for the people in Anaheim or too late for the people in Boston. Realignment has always been a difficult issue in baseball, blah, blah, blah. He goes on to say it. I think that he wants to NBA this thing, rip the leagues apart, and go Eastern Conference, Western Conference, so they can do what he just said, make it all for TV. Because I do think that now we've got more news about TV deals coming out. That's the goal here.
Yeah, I absolutely hate that. I do not want East-West. American League, National League, I know sometimes I'm not necessarily like the most traditionalist when it comes to baseball.
I'm shocked you're actually here.
No, I'm on this one. American League, National League needs to stay. Keeping it East and West is stupid. Also, Mets are going to get absolutely fucked if it becomes East and West, especially because, one, the teams that spend the most outside of the Dodgers and I guess like the Giants are trying to spend the Padres, but it's the coastal teams that spend the most money. And when you look at the Eastern or proposed Eastern Conference teams that make the most sense, most of them spend a lot of money. There's not a lot of teams there that you would consider uncompetitive or smaller payroll teams. And in Jim Bowden's proposal, where he completely went chaos and went strictly geographical divisions, which is totally a possibility. It was Mets, Phillies, Yankees, Red Sox. That is a hell division. That is the best division that has ever happened in any sort of sport. That's the group of death in the World Cup. Like, you are taking 4 of the biggest spenders, 4 of the teams that are actively trying to compete every single year, because we know Major League Baseball has a bunch of teams that don't do that. I would, as crazy as it sounds, because like in MLB The Show, that would be fun. In real life, that would be absolute hell. Real quick, before we get going more into the Mets, this episode is sponsored by Moomoo, a free investing app that is now the official sponsor of the New York Mets. And look, Moomoo's doing a lot for Mets fans right now, maybe even more than some of the players on the field, because Moomoo is giving away free tickets to Mets fans for every Monday home game at Citi Field this season, courtesy of Moomoo Mondays. That's right, just for being a user of Moomoo, you have the opportunity to get free tickets to a Mets game on Monday at Citi Field for absolutely free. Plus, they're running a crazy promo where if the Mets win 100 games this season, one lucky Moomoo user will win $1 million. Moomoo is also giving away up to $1,000 in NVDA stock to new users with a qualifying deposit. You can also earn 8.1% APY on uninvested cash on Moomoo for up to 3 months, which is really good value. Moomoo has pro-level tools. There's a ton of research, no commission trades. So join the 26 million users already on Moomoo right now. So go to my link, start.moomoo.com/draftdeckmark. Links, again, will be in the description, and get started investing using Moomoo today.
And there would be a real competitive balance issue. There already was one a few years ago before we went to the balanced schedule. We saw the NL Central and the AL Central teams just beat up on each other. Similar to the Jim Bowling proposal, there was one by Fox Sports. And you want to hear the AL Mid-Atlantic division?
Can I guess? Because I don't know it. So I'm going to say Mid-Atlantic, based on the name, is going to be Orioles, Nationals. They're going to throw the Pirates in there, and then they're also going to throw the Braves. So
the last one was actually Cleveland. But you got the first 3 right. Okay. So someone, I think it was the Cespedes Barbecue guys, they went on Twitter and they said that if this was the division in 2010, the division winner would have had 69 wins.
Yeah.
So there's an issue right now in baseball with competitive balance, which teams are spending money and which teams are not. And that would be a big problem with a geographical realignment like this. And again, something like this could get smoothed over, similar to the NBA. Not with a salary cap, but with tons and tons and tons of more TV money that eventually these teams will be more motivated to spend it.
Truthfully, I don't think the TV money actually matters for a team like the Pirates or the Reds. They're not going to spend because they have cheap owners. I think the way that this gets changed is, I mean, the TV money is going to help teams, I think, like the Royals, who we know don't spend as much money, but they've been actively spending more recently as they brought in new ownership. I think they need new owners if you want those teams to spend. I don't think you're ever going to see the Pirates or the Reds spend money like any of these other teams do.
No, definitely not, which is the thing that's honestly holding back baseball as a league, more so than any of these conversations about competitive balance, about salary cap, is that there are 4 or 5 guys that own these teams that are probably should just not be owning these teams anymore. They're not really equipped for the modern game. They're not really in it to win. They're more in it for a bottom line. They got a few of these guys out the last few years. 2 of them were the Wilpons. But there's a situation where now, if we do fully geographically realign, it will put so much more stress on these coastal teams, and it will be we'll be fighting tooth and nail to make the division series. Then the problem is you could ruin like something like the World Series like that. And then it's just I don't know. That's why I did like Stephen Nesbitt's proposal a lot, and just to run you guys through that, the new National League East
by far my favorite one.
It would really help the Mets, Phillies, Pirates, Nationals, the NL West, Diamondbacks, Dodgers, Padres, Giants, NL North. So this would be more of the football model they've adopted. Because I like how the football model, after they went to 32, you still maintained. Actually, I think I misspoke before I said the NBA, because I think the football model, the NBA still has 30, right?
NBA still has 30, yes. The
so
NFL,
football,
this is the NFL model right now.
Yes, where they have the 4-team divisions, of course, and then winning your division does matter, because then the North would be the Cubs, the Reds, the Brewers, the Cardinals, maintaining a lot of these traditional rivalries here, keeping the Giants, the Padres, the Dodgers together, keeping the Mets, Phillies, and an old school rivalry back with the Pirates. But then there would be a problem in Stephen Nesbitt's proposed NL South, and he referenced that in his piece, where he said it would be the Braves, the Marlins, the expansion team that would go to Nashville or Raleigh, and then the Rays. That's a very tough division in terms of television, in terms of fans. The Braves would take over that whole division. Every single game the Braves played would be a Braves game at that point.
AJ, I'm on my phone right now in Arena Club, and I'm looking at the Emerald slab packs, and I see in the Grail a Bobby Witt Jr. 2020 Bowman Chrome Prospect Auto Gold Refractor card. agenda.
Give me that. Give me your phone. I'm gonna get you to
Well, you got to
transfer
buy
that to me.
I don't have it. You
Oh, I
got
thought you had it.
get a slab pack. No, I don't have that.
Then give me your slab pack.
That
Scott.
card's worth
You
a
buy me
lot.
slab pack, Scott, so I can get the Bobby Witt Jr. Gold Refractor 2020 Bowman Chrome auto, because that sounds awesome.
And it's worth a lot.
It's worth a lot. He's a stud. He's not going down. Get a grail. Get a grail. I want a grail, Scott. Give me the holy grail. You do it.
To do that, you must get yourself a slab pack in Arena Club. Or if you want to get it for a friend, you can do that too. And right now, you can get 20% off your first slab pack or your first card purchase. If you're going on there and you're just like, hey, I want a specific card. I find it there. I want to grab it for my showroom. arenaclub.com/foul and use the code FOUL.
And I do think ultimately that is the problem that I have with realignment, is that things are pretty good right now. I would say baseball's divisional fairness is probably at the best that it's been, because the NL Central has some good teams. The AL Central still objectively stinks, but I think the Tigers are going to start to spend a little bit more money. The Royals are going to start to spend a little bit more money. They seem more competitive. This just gives a massive, massive advantage to a couple teams, and then another couple teams are at a massive disadvantage based on where they're being placed. That's why I feel so weird about this. And I'm like, do we just add a 6th team to the Central in both leagues? Like, is that the best case scenario?
No, because you use this as an opportunity to more optimize your situation like this. The fact that Rob Manfred specifically talked about ratings in the divisional series,
of course,
means that is what his sights are set on. Like, I think that's more important to him, especially as we're in a time right now where these television deals are up in the air. As of Thursday, we're hearing about ESPN taking over MLB TV and the regional broadcast rights for 5 teams that had lost their RSNs in the last year. So I do think that this is a turbulent time, and Rob Manfred's now legacy building mode because he has 3 or 4 years left on his contract. He even mentioned Fay Vincent's name, an embattled commissioner from the 80s and 90s, during this broadcast. I don't think 97% of baseball fans under the age of 40 know who Fay Vincent is.
How many people in that stadium at the Little League World Series knew who that is?
A couple kids' dads, I bet for sure. No, I know my dad listening remembers Fay Vincent, but Fay Vincent, if I remember correctly, I think he came from Dartmouth or Yale, and then they brought him in to be the commissioner from being like a higher up one of those schools. And he kind of went down with realignment. He went down with some kind of social justice crusades that he was a part of, but Rob Manfred's legacy building mode. He's got 3 years left in his contract. He wants to go out with expansion. Expansion, that's a flex muscles of a business. Like, and I think that, I don't know, maybe we disagree on this. I think baseball is in position to expand, but I would be really, really, really upset if we became the NBA because we expanded.
My biggest worry with expansion is that the league has like top heavy in terms of talent, and then there's a super, super like deep bottom where you have like the Rockies, the Pirates, the White Sox. You have the A's right now. I think the A's are coming out of it soon. But
that's what I was going to say. It's mostly skill. It's a skill issue for those teams at the bottom.
But then this is what I say is, like, take 1 or 2 guys off of every single major league team from the bottom of those MLB teams, because that's ultimately what an expansion draft is going to be. These expansion teams are going to be the worst teams to ever exist. I think you would have to get unbelievably creative, and because baseball is so much smarter than it was the last time where we had expansion, those kind of diamonds in the rough guys would be protected. I think you'd be making picks of like Ryan Stanek would be like one of the guys on the Mets. We'd be like, can we get Ryan Stanek? I wonder if we can have a 6th inning reliever who's okay.
But I'll tell you this, then. I bet they would propose something where the expansion teams get additional high draft picks. You know what I mean? Like,
but we also know it takes so long then for those guys to come.
Not anymore, dude.
Still
That's changing
Still
fast.
does.
Kind of. But we know from every single major league draft now, you're going to have 5 guys starting in the league within 2 seasons.
Sure.
And maybe going forward, I think the 2-year-ago draft is an anomaly, and I think that is what might be changing some people's ideas. But there's a way to do a major league expansion draft. And the other thing is that a lot of these teams, these groups who are going to take on these expansion teams, they're going to be in place 3 or 4 years before the team steps foot on the field. So if it's people that know what they're doing, and we know that Theo Epstein has talked about wanting to be a part of one of these expansion groups, if you have your player development processes and your coaches and all that shit in check, you can hit the ground running player development-wise. It'd probably be competitive within 5 years.
I've got a hot take. Should these organizations, once they get approved, should they be allowed to start minor league like processes immediately?
That's what I was getting at. These teams should be allowed to draft a year, at least 1 year in advance, if not 2.
I was going to say a couple. Like, you should let them have a couple full drafts where they can go and fill up some minor league teams or a minor league team at every single level, or you give them enough picks where they can fill up minor league teams at every single level. That way, when they do draft players, they actually have guys they can bring up and down too, because I think that's an underrated part about expansion that doesn't get talked about enough. Is it's not just the 26 man on the roster. You need like 130 guys, and
More.
it's I don't know how many there are, especially because we shorten the draft as well.
Sure, but that's why another thing. If you give an extra 2 picks around, one early pick, one comp pick, one
now
early
how
pick,
you
one
get
comp
crazy
pick.
is you allow draft pick trading as well, which might be in the next CBA possibly, because then that's where these teams could leverage some of those draft picks into actually getting real major league talent.
I also think that because we just saw this in the NHL, do expansion so hilariously, where they let one team in that they make them so good, they're literally like a juggernaut, the Las Vegas Knights. Like they became pretty quickly the best team in the NHL, one of the best and most well-equipped teams in the NHL. Then the next year, the Seattle Kraken, like, oh, that one was too good. That team sucks, and they're kind of shot. Not that I'm a big hockey, I'm a decent hockey guy, but not that I know all the ins and outs. I think seeing that as a league, at least now you have more of a blueprint to try and thread the needle and get 2 teams in the middle. Like I think that they'll find a way to make sure that some legitimate talent's going off these teams. You'll probably get to protect any player that you have to a free agent contract is probably guaranteed protected.
Yes.
Any player who's not arbitration process, that's where you're going to have to make decisions. And there will be decisions to be made. Like think about the Mets roster for a second. Let's say you had there would probably be a decision down the line of exposing some of like Mauricio or Bailey or Vientos. So you probably can only keep based on their decisions you'll make, because you'll probably want to keep the minor league guys even more so because they have more years of team control.
So then I'll ask you this. Like, if you have the picks of the Mark Vientoses on every single team right now, I think you're looking at probably the worst team in Major League Baseball history.
But I don't think it would be like Mark Vientos in every team. Like I think that these expansion teams would be a tiny bit better than you're letting them out to be.
I actually think the complete opposite. I think you are way overvaluing what the bottom of the barrel of all these teams are. Dude, like, Dylan Moore would be like an option for the Mariners.
Sure.
The choices are going to be really, really bad. Really bad. Unless you open it up to prospects. That's like, I don't know how prospect
I think it will be opened up to some prospects. I think it'll be like 40-man roster things.
Well, it's normally 40-man. But then at some point, there is an insane fine line, though, of too much protection versus not enough. And if you don't protect them enough, it's fucked. Like, that's why.
Then these teams will be awesome.
And to be honest, I don't know if I trust the powers that be to make the right decision.
I don't disagree with that either. There'll also be an element of if there's ownership groups taking over these expansion teams, I'm sure they're walking in with big fat stacks.
I would hope so. I hope so.
So then, there is a massive middle class of free agency that's never really taken that seriously. So, while you'll be supplementing your roster with, again, Ryan Mauricio's and Dylan Moore's, you'll probably be able to get a good bullpen right away, whether that be the good financial decision or not.
Maybe.
You'll probably be able to sign 2-3 starters, maybe a corner outfield bat with pop. The issue would be the premium positions. I don't know how you're finding your ace. I don't know how you're finding your shortstop. I don't know how you're finding your catcher.
I don't know how you're finding a 2. I don't know how you're finding I don't know how you put together in the first 3 or 4 years a capable major league team. I'll tell you what.
That would be a huge fuck up if they don't let them do that.
It's a fun exercise. It's definitely something that I would love to talk more in depth about, almost go through rosters and be based on the old protection rules, who are the picks. I think that would be a lot of fun.
This could be an idea for something, right? We do a supposed fantasy draft like this.
I've got a pretty good idea where that can go.
That's a good concept. We should take that one. But again, the crux of these conversations right now is that I think that there's fear of the dissolution of the American League and National League, which I think
ultimately what we wanted to talk about, and that is my biggest worry. I think that's what makes baseball different than all these other sports and also awesome.
And we know that Rob Manfred does have this little bit of an obsession with the NBA. He kind of recites a lot of things the NBA does a lot. And I think that in a lot of the ways, the NBA is a tremendous league. But I think there's a lot of ways that the NBA has kind of missed the mark lately as well. The NBA has totally devalued the regular season. Major League Baseball sadly seems like they're getting towards that point as well with the way we've expanded the playoffs and could again.
And we also, with the expansion and realignment, you probably go to 8 teams in every league that make the playoffs. That puts you at 1/4 of the league makes the playoffs, right? Or that would be half
18,
the league.
16, yeah.
That would be half the league makes the playoffs, which is way more than it already is. But they're going to do that because they want the TV deals. They want those games. The format basically means that every team's probably playing in the first round like we had in the COVID playoffs as well.
Yeah.
Kind of devalues the regular season a little bit more there, too.
And the question is then if you also do the NBA model where you then extend every single playoff series to 7 games, which of course you will do that to maximize your revenue. I think a beauty of baseball, some people hate this. Shout out the Braves fans and the Phillies fans and the Dodgers fans. It's fun to have upsets, I think. Sometimes people are I want the best teams playing in the World Series. Sometimes I do as well, but I think that I don't know, like watching a Diamondbacks team go on a run that they probably would not have been able to go on if every series was 7 games is fun. Similar to something like the Mets last year. I think if that Mets-Philly series goes 7 games last year, don't hate me in the comments, guys. Good chance Mets might have lost that series.
Definitely.
A better chance at least than if it was 5 games, we won with a game to spare. So I do think that, and that's what the NBA used to be. And of course, you're never going to hand money back.
No.
Like go from a 7-game series to a 5-game series. But those first, I don't think we have a lot of crossover super diehard NBA fans in the Mets sub circle. Those first round NBA playoff series are the worst.
Yeah,
There's
unless you're a
nothing-
Knicks
there's
fan and we get the
Sure,
best
we-
team every time in the first round, no matter what.
Or we just play down to the Pistons. But it's just like those, like watching some of those Western Conference series and people are like so hyped, pretending to be hyped up for these like content creators. I'm like, guys, this is not a series. Like literally wake me up at the end. Like I think football.
Gotta watch Timberwolves, Pelicans. Gotta lock in for that.
This is some of the funniest branding the NFL does relative to other sports where they champion parity. We champion parity. Where it's like, oh my God, look at the different playoff teams we have every year. But every single year you get to the Final Four, it's the same 4 quarterbacks. Like it does, like you never, that's not, football is the least parity sport. The NBA is even better parity now. But even the NBA has now gotten to the same teams every year. Like baseball has that parity because of the chaoticness and randomness of our playoff matchups. I think that is, while it is kind of stupid, it's also kind of fun.
Yeah, unfortunately, change is coming, and it doesn't, again, really matter what our opinion on it is. It's going to happen. There's no doubt it is going to happen. I guess theoretically there's a way that it doesn't, but Rob Manfred seems pretty steadfast, strong on this. Also, the timing is really, really interesting, too, because it's right before football season starts, too.
Yeah, start getting the talk going in. But it's also, again, I'm not against expansion. I'm against if expansion leads to the NBA-ification of Major League Baseball.
That's fair. I like expansion because I think it's fun. I'm against it because I don't know how it's going to work. That's truthfully it. If you can give me a good plan, I'm in. I don't know how these teams have a shot.
If we let Steven Nesbitt handle expansion, not Jimbo, then I think we're good.
Yeah, I'm totally in on that. That if that was the case, Nesbitt I think did a great job. Bowden went chaos. He went geographical. There's stuff that's warranted to his, proposal as well.
I can't even imagine what would happen to like personal relationships if the Mets, Yankees, Red Sox, and Phillies were in the same division. Nothing says summer like long days, clutch plays, and firing off a few bets on the game, all with the DraftKings Sportsbook. Never bet on baseball before? It's easy. Pick a guy to go yard, hammer some live odds mid-game, or just ride with your squad and hope for the best. No spreadsheets, just vibes and dingers. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code FOUL. That's code FOUL for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
I would lose my fucking mind. I can't handle that. I don't think any of those fan bases can handle that. Those are 4 of the most expensive teams in the entire sport playing each other 13, 14, 15 times a year is insane.
I also think if the Mets were in the American League, our dads would throw up.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
At the concept of that. We're
imagine you bring the Yankees to the National League.
That'd be awesome. I would do it if we got to do that. But like, I love the old school league stuff. Like that's a weird, fun caveat about baseball. I think that's a cool thing we have.
Also fucks up all the records and shit too.
But the NFL did that right. They maintained the AFC,
Yes.
NFC. They kept that shit set. I think that's a good model to look at.
Cowboys
for
are in the
baseball.
NFC East.
Right, totally. Like, yeah, right. But I understand what Manfred's saying about that playoff matchup, but like he doesn't care about the wear and tear in these players on planes. Absolutely not. It's the last thing he cares about.
I'll also say that too. I love the example of Anaheim, Boston. Anaheim hasn't made the playoffs in a decade.
Well, give him some shine. Like couldn't say the Dodgers and the Mets.
Couldn't say the Mariners. Like the Mariners would have been a great one. And that is truly out of all the teams in baseball, they are by and far the largest getting screwed over with travel. Everybody else, like it's kind of the same.
The Mets have had playoff series, 3 series against the Dodgers, 4 playoff series against the Dodgers, Padres, Giants in this century. Like it happens this millennium. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
You don't need to make the playoffs that much.
So Anaheim's not a big market either. Like way to pick a small market team too.
No, but like again, I remember the 2015 DS. Like we were watching those Mets Dodgers games, 10 o'clock at night.
It was awesome. It was incredible.
Yeah. It's good for us. We're gremlins. We're not real people.
It's all right. Real fans will be watching. That's all that matters. But we'd love to know your guys' opinion on realignment expansion down in the comment section below. Let us know what you were thinking. Make sure you're subscribed to the Messed Up Podcast YouTube channel if you have not yet done so. And if you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download, and subscribe. You can follow James on social media at
James Shiano.
I'm Draftneck Mark with a C. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you all on the next episode. Peace out.
Peace out, guys. Let's go Mets.